Good morning. It's Thursday, September the 5th, 2013. This is AGORACOM News TV. This show, I go through various different news releases each morning, trying to find the best ones and ultimately to help you find companies that are worth doing your homework on and ultimately find some winners in those. I'm Alan Barry Labucan. I'm the chief market commentator for AGORACOM. On today's show, I have 6 press releases to go over, so we'll get right to it. The first company that I wanted to talk about is North American Nickel. They had results from diamond drill hole MQ 13-08028 at their Imiak Hill, which intersected the Imiak Hill project, which intersected 24.75 meters of core length of near solid to solid sulfide mineralization, averaging approximately 35 to 40% total sulfides within noritic host rocks. The Montlitsock nickel, copper, cobalt, and platinum group metal project in southwest Greenland contains the 70-kilometer Greenland norite belt and is 100% owned by North American Nickel. The intersection that they mention is the deepest of 4 significant sulfides intersections made at Imiak Hill this year, and extends Zone 30's significant near solid to sulfide mineralization approximately 35 meters farther down plunge from hole MQ 12-026 to an overall vertical depth of 185 meters. The mineralization remains open at depth. In that hole 028, the mineralization was contained within 2 intervals of mineralized norite. The first is 17.9 meters long and averaged 40 to 45% sulfide, and the second is 2.4 meters long and contains 50 to 60% sulfide. The 2 intervals are separated by 4.4 meters. To get an understanding of why this is important, not too long ago, you can look on my website or at blog.agoracom.com. George Cholis and I did an interview with the Rick Mark, who's the Chief Executive Officer of North American Nickel, and in that interview he talks about the relationship between sulfides and the percentage of sulfides and the correlation between grade, and that's why they go into this quite extensively in this news release. There's plenty of other holes here that they talk about, there's more information about that hole that they talk about that was released today. There is a quote from Rick Mark, who is the Chief Executive Officer of North American Nickel. He stated, and I quote, "We are extremely pleased with the continuity of the near solid to solid sulfide mineralization at Imiak Hill that we have discovered this year. It is now being intersected from near surface to below 185 meters in depth, and the borehole survey tells us it remains open down plunge. That fits the nickel deposit model we are following. The company's technical team, led by COO Neil Richardson, Chief Geologist John Pattison, and Project Manager James Sparling, continue to deliver results for our shareholders." End quote. They noted that they've now delineated 3 closely spaced north-trending, near-vertically dipping, steeply south-plunging mineralized zones at Imiak Hill. Since commencing the 2013 field program in late June, North American Nickel has drilled 22 holes, totaling 3,711 meters at Montlitsock. The drill has now been moved from Imiak Hill to test other high-priority norite-associated electromagnetic anomalies prior to the end of the field season. So in addition to having these very good results at Imiak Hill. It's obvious, based on where they're moving their drill, that they feel that they have other high priority targets that they'd like to get to this season. So that's a very good one. I'm really eager and interested in seeing the results from the lab results. We've got good indications of sulfide mineralization. Now we need to see those lab results. They shouldn't be more than a few weeks away, 3 or 4 weeks from now, so that will be interesting to see that. The stock symbol on North American Nickel is NAN on the Venture Exchange. The next company that I wanted to talk about today is North American Palladium. They provided an update on their drill results from the first half of 2013 underground and surface exploration program at their Lac des Îles Palladium property in Northern Ontario. The company also completed for the first time National Instrument 43-101 compliant estimates for some near-surface mineral resources on the North VT Rim and the Sheriff Zone. The highlights from that are surface drilling on the western end of the North VT Rim defined an initial mineral estimate resource of 338,895 tons at 2.02 grams per ton palladium. The resource is currently being assessed for surface mining as a potential source of supplemental mill feed. Offset underground infill drilling continues to validate grades and lengths, increasing confidence for 2014 development. Notable intersections in the central zone include 36 meters grading 7.68 grams per ton palladium, 41 meters grading 6.13 grams per ton palladium, and 42 meters grading 5.23 grams per ton palladium. The true width of the offset zone infill drilling are estimated to represent 50 to 90% of the reported interval. Surface drilling on the Sheriff Zone defined a measured and indicated mineral resource of 5.828 million tons at a grade of 1.48 grams per ton palladium, including 1.76 million tons at 2.05 grams per ton palladium. The resource inventory may be available for accelerated development in a higher palladium price or higher tonnage bulk method environment. Then they talk about surface drilling that they're doing, notable intersections that have some more details on the grade, current exploration focus, shifted on evaluating potential lateral growth targets adjoining the Robbie and offset zones that represent lower development cost alternatives to expanding the mine at depth. There's a quote from Phil Detroit, who is North American Palladium's President and Chief Executive Officer. He stated, and I quote, "The recent results from our exploration drilling support our belief that we have a considerable exploration upside at LDI and that we can continue to organically grow our reserve and resource base through exploration. Our current exploration focus remains on identifying near-surface and lateral resource gains that can support sustainable production growth while minimizing capital requirements," end quote. So it's kind of indicative of what this is. You know, it's obviously not a massive resource, and that's why there's just as much talk in this press release about drilling results and exploration info as there is about the resource calculation. I think there's even more talk about that, and I think that's indicative that, you know, that this is small and it needs to get a lot bigger. But, you know, they've got a resource there, a palladium, and it's in Northern Ontario, so a very interesting project. The stock symbol is PDL, and it trades on the Toronto Exchange. The next company is Corvus Gold. Corvus Gold released assay results from 2 core holes and 3 reverse circulation holes in the Yellow Jacket zone at the North Bullfrog project in Nevada. The drill results from the Yellow Jacket zone have identified a new high-grade gold vein system and expanded near-surface mineralization along trend to the north, increasing the project's starter pit potential. One of the holes they mentioned had 84.8 meters of 1.1 or 1.6 grams per ton gold and 10.0 grams per ton silver. Another hole had, which was a 260 meter step out to the north of a discovery hole, intersected a new high-grade vein system where drilling to date has now outlined 4 distinct vein systems within the overall 100 to 150 meter wide northwest trending Yellow Jacket zone. One of the holes returned an intercept of 61.3 grams or meters of 0.7 grams per ton gold. They had another reverse circulation hole that that was from 2012. It was their hole MB 13-230 represents a 500 meter step out to the north from the 2012 discovery hole, which returned 172 meters of 0.45 grams per ton gold. So it looks like they're expanding the zone there. Drill road construction and RC grill drilling has recently intersected other vein systems to the west of Yellow Jacket, opening up more potential for expanding the high-grade feeder system under the existing Sierra Blanca deposit. There's a quote from Jeff Pontius, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Corvus Gold, and he stated, and I quote, "The continued encouraging results from the Yellow Jacket zone are now defining a large and expanding zone of shallow, much higher grade, open pit, heap leach material for the initial phase of mining at North Bullfrog. In addition, the discovery of additional high-grade veins over a broad area highlights the potential for the high-grade system to grow and scale it to that of the plus 2 million ounce Bullfrog mine located to the south of the project. These ongoing results are outlining what could be a major new Nevada high-grade gold discovery that could greatly enhance Corvus shareholder value," end quote. Jeff Pontius, he's a very seasoned and has had a lot of success finding multi-million ounce gold deposits during his career. He's done it a few times. This is a very interesting project down in Nevada, right next door to where Barrick had the North Bullfrog mine in production. This is ground just to the south, and it looks like, or just to the north, and it looks like, it's showing a lot of potential. They've drilled a lot of holes. I like this project a lot. I'm going to try and get Jeff Pontius on one of our future shows so he can talk about this a little more fully. The stock symbol on that one is KOR, and they trade on the Toronto Exchange. The next company is Metanor. Metanor has provided an update of development activities underway at its Bachelor project. Metanor produced 4,312 ounces of gold during the month of August. The ounces produced in August came from the development and stope ores for a total of 21,340 tons of ore at a feed grade of 6.46 grams per ton with a 97.3% recovery. Their average grade went up in August due to the commencement of mining in stope 13-0-02. The tonnage increase came from the total stopes available for mining. Moreover, Metanor is continuing its development plan on several levels to increase the stopes available for production and eventually reach commercial production. The Bachelor project is in Quebec. It has a 1.6 million ounce gold resource on that project. Very interesting stuff happening here. This company is increasing production. I'll be looking forward to seeing their financial reports out of this to see if they're making a profit on that. But very interesting. Got a significant resource there. It's in Quebec. We've got a mine that's growing its production. Very good combination there. MTO is their symbol, and they trade on the Venture Exchange. The final news release today is from SilverCrest Mines. They provided further results of delineation drilling at their Santa Elena mine in Sonora, Mexico. They did a total of 180 core and art reverse circulation holes completed in this program, of which 134 holes were utilized in the recently announced Santa Elena pre-feasibility study and updated reserve technical report. Results for the remaining 47 holes reported in this news release were not available for inclusion in the revised reserves and resources for the technical report, which basically means that, you know, they've got, obviously it's larger than what was reported. They just drilled those holes after they had the cutoff for the report that they did. The results show further expansion of the Santa Elena deposit, which is still open laterally and to depth. They have figures on their website that you can see, pictures that you can see what they're talking about. It's on their website. Several of these reported holes identified additional high-grade intercepts, expanding the recently discovered El Chalugo and El Chalugo Dos zones, and also discovered a new zone called Tortuga. Please refer to the, you can, that's on the, you can see pictures of that on the website. There's a quote from Eric Fear, who's the president and COO of SilverCrest, and he stated, and I quote, "This delineation drill program at Santa Elena was immensely successful. With this program, we drilled the known portion of the deposit at approximately 35-meter centers, announced revised reserves and resources, extended mineralization beyond our current reserve boundary, and identified 3 new zones, El Chalugo, El Chalugo Dos, and the newly discovered Tortuga. The recently announced results of the revised underground reserve and resource estimations have extended the current mine life to a minimum of 8 years. Our underground ramp has progressed beyond the 1,500 meters in development length. We have intercepted the main mineralized zone underground and extracted approximately 8,000 tons of ore from the 625-meter level. The conventional mill construction and underground development currently underway are setting the stage for the successful expansion of the mine, with an anticipated significant increase in metals production starting in 2014. End quote. I'm often advising companies that when they put out press releases to include a statement from a key executive that puts into perspective all that's going on and tries to communicate that so that non-technical people or non-geologists can understand it. Eric Fear, in this statement, did a wonderful job of capsulizing the work that they've done, where that fits into what they're currently doing, and where they're going with that down the road. And it really is quite an exceptionally good project that they have down there, and I think it's got an exciting development ahead of it. They also included some of the drill hole intercepts with the highlights from their main mineralized zone, or MMZ they call it. One of the holes had 9.82 meters grading 4.83 grams per ton gold and 171 grams per ton silver, including a higher grade subinterval there of 0.8 meters grading 30.20 grams per ton gold and 638 grams per ton silver. They had another hole with 15 meters grading 4.03 grams per ton gold and 243 grams per ton silver. So obviously they're not just getting high grades here, they're getting them across significant widths as well. Another hole had 13.3 meters grading 3.52 grams per ton gold and 136.2 grams per ton silver. Another hole had 11.7 grams or meters, grading 3.97 grams per ton gold and 189.5 grams per ton silver. Another hole had 8.8 meters of 1.91 grams per ton gold and 70.6 grams per ton silver. Now that's from their main zone. Now they also talk about their new discovery called Tortuga, and that also had some very exciting grades as well. For example, and I'm just picking some of the highlight holes. You can find all the detailed holes on the company's website in their news section for this press release that was out today. But again, some of the highlights from that new discovery, Tortuga. One of the holes had 17.1 meters of 2.55 grams per ton gold and 115.7 grams per ton silver. Included in that hole was a 4.9 meter interval of 5.71 grams per ton gold and 200.9 grams per ton silver. Another hole had 5.3 meters of 10.44 grams per ton gold and 572 grams per ton silver. Another interval had 24.52 grams per ton gold and 916 grams per ton silver. So obviously, you know, they've got a very exciting project here. I like the combination of the gold and silver numbers and the thickness of the intersections. This is a really promising company. The stock symbol is SVL, and that trades on the Venture Exchange. And this company was one of the past companies that I picked in what we call our best of the best in weekly news that we put out on Fridays. Monday through Thursday we do our daily shows where I pick out the news releases. At the end of the week we do the best of the best of those the daily shows and try to pick the best ones, and SilverCrest is one of those picks. I like this company's project a lot. On that note, that's a wrap on our news for today. As I mentioned earlier, this show is designed for what I do on a daily basis, and I share with you is I go through all the various different press releases and try to find the best that have news that stands out to me. From that, I go do my additional homework and find that there is often a lot of companies that have the potential to perform very well from that. Again, those shows go out Monday through Thursday, are sort of in the news shows. And then on Friday, which is tomorrow, we do our best of the best in the weekly news and try to bring you some of the ones that from the week that really stand out. On that note, I want to close the show. Before closing, I always want to stress that it's important for you to do your own homework and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you on Monday with our back within the news, and tomorrow join us for our weekly best of the best in weekly news. Have a great day.